Barrett. But anyway, guys, this is Seth with Karen, one of my top lieutenants in the war against college. She is, maybe she doesn't like it, but like, she is coming to us live from her office in San Francisco, where she is kicking ass in a new job that she will tell you about. But we don't have to, I kind of, like I said, I can edit this. Did you want to show us your office?
Yeah, hopefully there's I don't want to interrupt people, but if I just take the phone, I don't know, I don't know what else to say. Do you want me to be a guided tour or?
Hey, it was your idea.
I know.
It
Damn
was your
it.
idea to take
Shit that I get myself into. Okay, so just for context, this is a conference room. Yeah, basic.
Do you have an office or a desk or something?
Yeah, here, actually, let me just plug these headphones in. Okay.
Yeah.
So basically on this side of the building is marketing. That's the marketing department. And then on the other side, which we can go to as well if I don't know. Do you want to see the whole thing? What do you guys what do you want to see?
It was your idea to show us the office, so.
Yeah, but how long do you want this to be here?
It doesn't have to be long. I'm literally just curious about what's outside your door there.
Okay. So see, all of this is marketing.
And where do you sit? Where do you do your thing?
Okay. So this is where I sit. As you can see, let's see. Can you see my?
Yeah, there you go.
Karen. So this is kind of my work space area. Yeah, it has I don't know, the standing desk, so you can move it up and down. Yeah, fancy stuff. I don't know, I've never had this kind of stuff. And this is where my team sits, which would be marketing operations. So I think that's something to important actually, because before this I was working more on the creative side of SEO and writing, and it was just more content driven. And now here I'm more strategy and operations and optimizing for conversions. So yeah, so that's all of this is marketing, and it's yeah, it's lined with conference rooms. And yeah, this is an exit.
What's your view? Are you actually in San Francisco? What is the view from the building?
Let's see. Here, I will show you. So I'm in what's called Sausalito, so outside of SF. And there's yeah, there's water, and what's pretty neat is that they have these tables and stuff where you could sit outside and eat lunch with people, while seeing the view. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. I feel super spoiled sometimes.
Why do you feel super spoiled? What else?
Cause they give us everything. They give us snacks, they pamper us, they give us nice views, and I don't know, I feel
You have catered lunches, or you have a cafeteria?
Yeah, catered lunch. And it's for good reason, right? Because Glassdoor, they have their mission is to make people, or find people and connect them to the jobs and the companies that they love. And every year they have this list of the best places to work. And so a lot of these would be the typical startups, to where you have environments like these where you have catered lunches and ping pong tables and unlimited PTO. And yeah, it's a lot of the typical startup-y stuff, but it's stuff that people like, and people rank them according to how awesome their workplaces are. So I think the philosophy here is to lead by example. If you're going to be talking about all this stuff and talking about best places to work, and like the top CEOs, like you have to back it up, right? So like this is still our area. This is what we call building A, and that over there is building B. We have like, we share that building with other companies, but we have a lot of like conference rooms there as well, and like HR and admin. So that's that. And then when you walk in this way, we're gonna go inside like the cafeteria, yeah, and like main lobby space, I guess you would call it. Let's see if I can even go in. Okay, I can. Okay. So
Very nice.
sales is that way, and we have like a vending machine for like tech stuff that we need. So like if you need an extra pair of earbuds, or if you need like an extra mouse, they got you with that. And let's see what else, like snacks and stuff.
Oh yeah, let's go see the snacks.
Actually, we ran out. Like we need to refill. This
What's
is
on the
our
top? Is that candy at the top?
where?
Yeah. Oh, wait, no, right there.
Oh, there's milk chocolate pretzels, almonds, M&Ms, nuts, Cheez-Its, pretzel nuggets, Oreos. Let's see, what do we have in here? Like more stuff, chips. But my favorite, where's my favorite? Huh.
Oh my God, they have kettle corn. That's it. I'm working there.
Where, what? Kettle corn? I don't even know what that is. I don't know what the difference is between the two.
Oh, Karen.
I know.
Karen, kettle corn is basically sweet popcorn. It has sugar on it.
Oh.
It's really good.
Well,
You should try some.
yeah, I haven't tried like any of this. What else? Oh no, this is my favorite. It's like can you see it? Yeah.
Yeah, what is
like
it? Peanut butter cup?
like a wannabe Reese's cup.
Oh, that looks amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I would be
I'm gonna
eating so
take
much
that.
of that.
Yeah. Here's like the bike racks for people that like bike into work.
You said you were worried about bothering people, but I don't see anyone there.
I know, me too. And there was just like a ton of people. I think it's the engineers that are
Oh.
upstairs. But like this is downstairs. So in here, can I like walk in here? Oh shit, yeah. Okay. So this is our gym.
Nice.
I've never been. I should. Yeah.
Get
So
in
that's
there.
kind of it's kind of like most of the first floor. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. You're welcome to circle back to your office or to the conference room unless there's anything else really cool to show us.
Yeah, I think that's for the most part all I can think of. But yeah, I mean,
Where are the ping pong tables and stuff?
oh shit, I forgot that. You want to see it for real?
Yeah, of course.
Oh my god, Seth, it's just a fucking ping pong table.
Yeah, but it's not just for me, Karen. You're changing lives. This is for all the people that will be watching this who can't believe that there are actually workplaces that have ping pong tables.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Did you even believe it before you got here?
Yeah, it's just a ping pong table. Damn. Like, what the
Is it just one ping pong table? Is it going to be really disappointing? I mean, I'm going to edit this, so.
I mean, yeah, it's like just one. There's like foosball and there's like video games, but.
Okay, yes, show us that.
Okay, well, actually, arcade games too. Like instruments, I think we have a lot of musically talented people. A salad bar, actually. We have like our version of Jenga. This is a thing. Apparently, we have kombucha on tap and cold brew. I don't know. People like flip out because we have this, and I don't know. I really don't care. Like, I'm not a coffee person. So yeah, ping pong table. Foosball table.
Oh my God, you're so funny. You're like, there's just a few video games and a ping pong table, a foosball table, on tap kombucha. That's all. Baby, come on. Doesn't every office have this? No.
Yeah,
No.
and then like, board games. What is
Oh,
it?
yeah, yeah.
I don't know. What is this? See, I'm not very, yeah. A what? It's the Wii and the GameCube. A Wii and the GameCube? Okay. That's it? Yeah. Oh, see, look, Xbox 360. Yeah, and like a bunch of board games. I don't know.
That's great.
Yeah. We got it all.
Don't forget about the kayaks, girl.
Oh yeah, the kayaks. I forgot. Oh shit. Oh yeah. I know. I keep forgetting. Here you go. You want to see these?
Yes.
People. Oh shit. This is gigantic.
Right?
Yeah.
You guys kayak often?
Huh?
Do
I
people
don't.
use these kayaks?
I have no idea. I mean,
They go out there in the water.
do people use them often?
Yeah, they go out there.
Really?
They'll come in with shorts on and
Like during like the work week or like on?
doing the work week.
Oh my god.
Work hours.
That is so funny.
Come on now, we have bingo and we have bar time and we have beer here doing work hours.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Like what was the last event was drag queen bingo, which was that was pretty fun. Yeah. Yeah. So
It was
here we
great.
go.
Coffee machine over there.
Kombucha.
We got our, you know what I'm saying? You want to act like you know how to play, like I
Yeah.
something. You know, this is my machine right here.
You play that?
Absolutely, every day on a daily basis.
What are the games? Let me see the games.
Girl, right there.
Let's see.
Yes.
We've got Mortal Kombat,
Yes.
Pac-Man, Champion.
The old school games.
Yeah, apparently old school. Let's see. What is this?
That's You have the
Yeah.
Ninja Turtles game. Go over to the Ninja Turtles.
Give me a glass of wine.
Oh, really? Oh,
Oh my God, Karen.
Oh, we
I
have
used to play
wine.
that game.
I didn't know that. Huh?
That Ninja Turtle game was the cornerstone of my childhood.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I would like never know. See, this is very, very basic looking.
Of course. It came out in 1980. What was it? It say 1988.
Oh, shit.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Well,
Apparently we
okay.
have wine in the fridge too.
There you go. There you go. I think you've given us a good sense of the place.
Damn
Unless there's
it.
anything else you've conveniently forgotten about.
I don't think so.
Oh yeah, we have a gold-plated rocket car.
A gold-plated rocket car that could transport you to any place. I mean, like I guess you could do drop off laundry, I think. Laundry. I don't know if it's dry cleaner or something. Yeah. Yeah, that's most of it, I'd say.
Not too bad.
Not too shabby.
Well, thanks for the tour. I'll see you. No, I'm kidding. No, now we have to tell people what actually happened.
Oh yeah.
So let's wait till you're sitting down again.
Okay. So yeah, this is basically, so that was the first floor. We're going up the second floor, and in the second floor there's like marketing and engineering. And here we go. That's our CEO's office.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So here we are back to where we started.
There you go. That's your workout. You know, you don't go to the gym, so.
I know. I got to get my steps in for today.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. So I'll probably edit that together somehow.
Yeah.
In with what we're saying here. Okay. So are you positioned properly? Let me see.
I don't know. Tell me, Mr. Film Director.
That's me. Just can you just tilt the camera so that you're centered?
Like
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Here, should I take my headphones off?
Either way is fine. That doesn't matter. Whatever works. You can take them off if you want.
Okay, let's see.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello. Okay,
Okay.
I'll do another introduction and then we'll get into it.
Sweet.
What?
Sweet.
Oh, sweet. Yes. Okay. Hey guys, what's up? It's Seth with indemandcareer.com. I show people how to get jobs in digital marketing with no previous experience or education. And today I am doing a follow-up interview with Karen, who you may remember from previous interview was making $52,000 a year as a freelancer and is now working at Glassdoor. Yes, the huge career-oriented company Glassdoor. One of my students, Karen, has gotten a job there again with no crazy. Okay, I lost my train of thought. It just went off a cliff. Well, partly also, okay, well, let me talk about this. So I don't want to say, we talked about what you're making. I don't want to say what you're making, but I wanted to say that you're making a good salary.
Yeah.
Like more, what did we say? More than 80? Or I was going to say you were making 52K a year freelancing and now you're making almost twice that, right?
Almost twice that. Yeah. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that could be said. Damn it. Okay.
Why are you saying damn it? Because you don't want to say it or because you still can't wrap your head around it?
I still can't. Well, actually, both. I still can't wrap my head around it. And yeah, I still can't fucking wrap my head around it. Okay.
Pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay. Yeah.
Look, if you're gonna live in San Francisco at a company like this, you have to be making what you're making. No one would.
Yeah.
You're not making $40,000 a year. You'd be living on the street. So, and you've kept that same client, right?
Oh yeah. For one of the clients that I was like one of the longer term ones, definitely still doing work for them because first of all, on their end, it's hard to find, I think.
Okay, I'm going to ask you this again and you can get into it.
Oh shit. Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
All right. I'll do another intro.
Do you want me to like say something after your intro or not?
I was going to say like, thanks for being here, Karen, or something like that. And then and then we'll just jump into it after that.
All right.
Or you can just say something. I just need to introduce the video, which I could do like now or later, but I'll do it now. Okay. Hey guys, what's up? It's Seth with indemandcareer.com. I show people how to get jobs in digital marketing with no previous experience or education. And that includes my guest on this interview, Karen, who you may have seen previously as my student who skipped college and does not have a degree and was making $52,000 a year freelancing. She is now working at Glassdoor in San Francisco, making almost twice that. And again, she did all this without a college degree. And she is actually at work right now while we are talking. So hello, Karen.
Hey, Seth, how's it going? I'm really excited to be on here, especially as like a a follow-up interview, because I think this can give people a better idea of like the possibilities that are open in this field, I think. Yeah.
Absolutely. So people might remember that you were freelancing for a while, and why don't you tell us how this job, like what this job is and how it came about? Like what, it's only been a couple of months, right? So walk us through that.
Yeah, well, this could take like forever. So like you said, start with like what this job is, right? Or
let me see. Yeah, start with what the job is, sure.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, I was hired as a digital marketing operations specialist at Glassdoor, and really kind of what a lot of my job is, or the purpose or the goal of like bringing me on, is to help optimize for conversions on the website. So like, I mean, like, I don't know, starting working with small businesses in the past, for me, the experience was like how to get more clicks, right? How to get more brand awareness. But actually, a big organization like Glassdoor, they already have that, a lot of brand awareness. Of course, they're always trying to continue to grow, but they're already getting like huge numbers and clicks to all areas of the website. So then it becomes the question of optimizing for conversions for, like, you know, bringing people down their sales funnel. And I work on the B2B side. So working with businesses, or not directly with businesses, but helping to optimize for clicks from people, representatives from other businesses that could buy, like, you know, our products that we could sell to. So that's like the essence, the goal of why I'm here. And that includes like many different things. So for example, working on our chatbot for our websites, working on, for example, we have international content, because we have like international sites that people from our international offices need posted on the website. So I do that as well. And yeah, just a little bit of everything. I could go into like a huge list of like what specifically I do, but it's like all in the end goal of like optimizing for conversions on the Glassdoor website, at least the B2B side.
That's awesome. So let's walk it back for most of the people watching this. You know what they're thinking. You've talked to so many people who are thinking of taking the course. People are always thinking the same thing, which is like, how do I get into this with no experience? Is this really possible? So I would just like to walk back to how, you know, you don't have a degree. You know,
I mean, I went to community college, like I got the associates, but like,
you
I
don't
don't
have
know.
a bachelor's degree.
Yeah. Just wanted to clarify.
Yeah. But that's really, I mean, that's the key thing, because everybody's running around thinking that if you don't have a bachelor's degree, you're going to end up living in a dumpster.
Mm-hmm.
But my question is, how did you go from, you were basically having your own clients and working for yourself, essentially. How did you go from that to then being hired by this huge company with a great salary and actually being relocated to San Francisco?
Right. And I think I'd like to preface this with like what you mentioned is like, is this possible? Like, how do I get here with like, I don't know, like, for example, with me with no bachelor's degree, like I don't know, to put this into perspective, like the people that I work with, like most, I'd say the vast majority are, you know, minimum bachelor's degree. A lot of them have masters. And most of them, or I don't know if most of them, but many of them got referred by people within the organization. So that, like, to me, if I would have known that, like, going into this, I would have been like really skeptical and maybe more insecure, because like there's just like not a lot of people that either look like me or that have the background that I do, which is why I think this is important, what we're doing right now.
And by
you said
your background, what do you mean? Do you mean not having the bachelor's degree, or do you mean
not having the bachelor's degree, not having the traditional experience, like this is my first full-time job. And so not having any like full-time jobs before this to like boast in my resume, and even like diversity wise, like like not a lot of like Latinos or Hispanics that work here. So like it's like you just look at that and you just see that the odds are like not really like in your favor, because you're not what a typical person, employee who works here, like with their background educationally and like diversity and everything. So backing up to what you were mentioning, like how did I start like coming in from freelancing? I think.
Hey, can you just pause for a second? Are you I just noticed, are you putting your arms on the desk where the camera's situated?
Yeah. Is that bad? It was a shaking it?
Yeah, I realized that it's shaking it. So just try to not do that.
Okay, cool. So yeah, going back to like freelancing, I started freelancing about 2 years ago, and I started, you know, on Upwork. That's how I started. That's how I got my first client, and I kind of grew it from there. And I think that's like one of the best ways actually to build your resume, because not only do you get the experience, and I think I got the experience as many did, like many, the way they got it in their first full-time job, I got it through freelancing. And the cool thing is, like, with freelancing, you can have multiple clients. You have like multiple things to write on your resume. It beefs it up more. Not only that, but also like when it comes to like the interview experience, especially here at Glassdoor, and I'd say it at other tech companies as well, having like me coming in as a freelancer made it easier to go through the interview process, because like I'm used to being grilled by like business owners or representatives of companies as to like, why should we spend money on you, because it just becomes such like a normal thing. Like, you kind of have to wear the sales hat as a freelancer. So like, I think this is just like a side note. I would really recommend freelancing for anybody that's looking for like flexibility like that, and to like really grow your skills, not only like in technical, like with the work itself, but also like round out your skills, like self-confidence and your sales skills and networking as well, because you also rely on referrals to get you clients. Like, this is literally a great way to learn. Like, if you could freelance for 4 years versus getting like a 4-year bachelor's degree, I would say, well, in this field at least, I would say like every time I would pick the freelancing, because you're like a pro after 4 years of freelancing.
Absolutely. So I concur. So you were, tell us a little about your life, and like, so my real question is, and people are wondering, like, okay, you had the freelance lifestyle, like you had,
Yeah.
sounded like one really, really long-term client. You were working, you didn't have to work full time, and you were making 52,000 a year, which you were living in Columbus, which is good money, especially for someone who was 21. That's crazy. So it's a very comfortable life, but what inspired you to then say, I'd like a job?
So it didn't start as I'd like a job. I don't think anybody starts as I want to work the 9 to 5, and like tell people in advance if I'm gonna like travel. Like, no, it didn't start as that. It started as I want to like leave Ohio, because that's where I was living, and while I was freelancing, I was like traveling to these cool places. And then that's when I realized, hey, I could like really be independent. I could pull off this living on my own thing. If I could like pull off this thing, like knowing 0 people in a new city and making friends, and then like being really, really sad about going back home, and then being like not really satisfied with my life in Ohio, then I think that's a sign. So my plan was I was going to either go to New York City or San Francisco, one of the two. And this was going to be with freelancing or with a job. I didn't care. Like, my thing was like, get me out of here. So yeah. And then like, one of the things that I was doing was, okay, like my thought process was like, if I'm going to go back into the workforce, I'm going to be extremely selective of where I want to work. When in reality, no, because like every job is different, every company is different. And like you said, going back to your point, like, it's all about what your priorities are to you right now. Because like, you may have like, my priority is A, B, and C, and then like 5 years from now, like they might be completely flipped. So like, I think that's something important to keep in mind. So yeah, like I had this mentality going in, and I like looked up like on Google, like what are the companies with like the best workplaces, like either the best benefits. It was something along that. And I stumbled on a blog by Glassdoor. And so, they were listing a bunch of great companies that had like highly rated approvals of CEOs, and like just great workplaces, just to build your experience in. And then like on the blog, it was like they added like a footnote or something. It was like, by the way, we're hiring as well. So, like that as like a last thing on the blog. And I'm like, oh, wouldn't that be funny, to like work at Glassdoor? And so yeah, I applied, and it was more as a joke, to be honest, because I really I didn't think that it was like that they would be committed enough to like relocate somebody. So yeah, it was a joke, but it turns out that the joke was on me.
In a good way.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, watch your arms.
Yeah, I know. I was like,
so walk me through that process of, so you put in the application, and then what happened?
yeah. So, I mean, I put in the application, and then it was like really quick that the recruiter got back to me, like I think within 48 hours. That the recruiter emailed me and said, hey, are you a US citizen or something? Or no, sorry. Are you authorized to work in the US or something? And are you willing to relocate to the Bay Area? And I was like, yeah. And so then fast forward to several rounds of interviews, and like a deck presentation that I had to make as well. Yeah. And
So,
here we are.
so what, okay, so for everyone, again, in the course, like they'd be like, but how could this be your first job? You're 22 and you're making like 4 times as much as any 22-year-old, and you have never had a job. So in the interview, how did those go? What did they ask you? Did they ask you about your degree? Did they ask you about your previous jobs?
No degree, like never even once mentioned the degree, like never, ever did that cross anybody's like, I don't know, at least my frame of thought and like the conversations, that was like never mentioned. And I think actually that's pretty common because especially here in the Bay Area, like I just met a guy that works at Pinterest, and he has like zero, he doesn't even have like an associate's, like nothing. And he works as a software engineer. So like, I think that's like not that, I mean, for the area, maybe it's like some companies, I don't know. But yeah, like that was like we never mentioned the college degree. And in the beginning, honestly, like the first rounds were pretty easy because like they just ask you like regular screening questions just to make sure that you're not like insane or something, or I don't know, to like kick out like the easy people. But yeah, even like, yeah, with the phone calls, it was very basic questions, like high level questions that I think honestly anybody out of the course could answer. It's like not.
Yeah, what did they, like digital marketing wise, how did they, I guess with the deck presentation was really the real test of, do you know what you're talking about?
Yeah, I think the deck presentation was.
And what was their presentation of? Was it like some optimization of a site or
Yeah,
an SEO strategy?
how would I optimize the blog, the B2B blog for conversions? And like how would I like format the layout of like the experience differently? And then like not only that, but like I think something that mattered as well was like how would I measure success, right? Because they want to know, like here we're always about like how are we going to move the needle? We need to have a needle to move, right? Or else it's not like ROI positive. To like invest in our time into doing something, like it needs to have an outcome to it, right? So like I think, yeah, the deck was definitely like where like the meat of like where my knowledge was, and where I had to show that like I knew what I was talking about. But yeah, in the beginning it was like more like analytics questions, like more high level, like do you know how to use WordPress kind of stuff. But yeah, when it came to the deck, I was, presenting on, I would make a change to like the blog homepage, because it doesn't have like a subscribe button or something. Like it was, to me, it wasn't like rocket science, maybe because like I did the freelance. And yeah, like, and then for measuring success, it was like, I just made like a plan of like how we would measure visitors and how they converted to leads. And, like it was, I don't know, to me, it was pretty straightforward.
It sounds to me, it's funny because I had no sense of the really, because it happened so fast. I didn't have a sense of what this job actually was, but I kind of thought it would be more difficult. And it sounds to me like, based on what you're saying, this sounds like something anybody in the course could get, this job, if they put in the time and actually generate their own experience, because that's like what we're teaching is optimization.
Yeah, that's what it is. Like, I mean, it's just a thing of I think every company does it differently, but like learning the tools that they're using, like the platforms, whether it's like obviously WordPress, that's a given, but like other marketing tools that they use, like the chat box tool that we use, which is called Drift, obviously Google Analytics, like a lot of these are basic. And yeah, like if you like the more tools that you learn, like it's like extra bonuses, I'd say, like as a bonus for them.
I would say if anyone watching this, like I still get this question from people who are either considering the course or in the course, and they'll say, but it's usually from people who haven't watched all the videos. And you got to do that before you ask me questions. And they say, well, can't I just use Wix to build my own website? And I said,
And I
well,
actually
look.
have something to say about that. So I am a Wix like enthusiast, pro person, and I love Wix because as a freelancer, it made my life easier, right? Because I'm selling and I'm working with clients, small business owners that don't have tech skills, right? They're not tech savvy. So for like freelancing, like Wix was amazing because like for the most part, clients just wanted something really, really easy to use. They don't want like I don't know, all the bells and whistles that WordPress offers. Although, you know, it also depends on the business owner, but like the more I noticed, like the older they were, or like the less interested they were in like tech, they were open to doing Wix. So like, I mean, I did Wix, and yeah, so like that's a good reason to use it. But I'd say like for like the students, if like you're a student, like I would say like 100% make WordPress your priority because like it's much more applicable in like these companies at least. And even if you work for clients, a lot of them are going to have WordPress sites anyway, but it's just like the really small mom and pop shops that like at least were my area that like I worked with a lot that had, you know, that were using Wix. So I don't know, like it's not like Wix is evil. I think Wix is like right for the right situations as well.
No, I agree with that. I wasn't going to say Wix is evil. In fact, out of all the simple word, out of all of the simple word website builders, I think Wix is the best. But it's like learning Google Ads and Bing. To me, Wix is like Bing Ad Center because yes, it's good to know it. It has some application, but you need to know Google Ads. That's where all the action is. And in WordPress, yeah, most of your clients, you know, are going to be using it. And as a professional, you just have to have that under your belt.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and
even if you go do other things, like for example, like I have coworkers that work in just email, like only optimizing email, like with whatever else. But like a lot of them, what we have in common is like WordPress. So like even if you work in another field within marketing, WordPress is still like a common denominator.
For sure. So tell me, let's switch gears for a second. So tell me about the process of actually moving to San Francisco. What was it like for you? What was it like? You know, was it exciting? Were you nervous? What was it like?
I think for me it was probably underwhelming, the move to San Francisco. Like I think people would be like, oh my gosh, you know, like
Oh, wait a minute. That's not what you told me at all.
I mean, like now looking back at it, maybe now that I have distance, look, I am like a proud minimalist. So in Ohio, I didn't have like a lot of, I don't know, stuff to like get rid of anyway. And oh shit,
I'm
yeah.
not okay. Let me rephrase this because we have
Look at
talked
this.
about this. I'm not talking about the actual process of packing your bags.
I thought that's what you asked.
Oh, I meant the conversation we had where you were saying, we were both kind of laughing because we said it's like you're having the college experience without actually having to go into debt. You're getting paid. Like you actually are having the excitement of I'm going to this new place. I'm going to meet all these new people. I'm going to have this adventure. This is so exciting, but it's for a job. That was what you're talking about, right?
Damn it, Seth, you should have rephrased that fucking question because
All
I
right,
was
well,
like going off on a tangent.
How should I ask the question? This isn't.
Then how has your experience like in San Francisco been? Like not the move itself, but like as a new person in San Francisco, like just a new person in San
Okay, I'll
Francisco.
ask you that. I love it. Let me. What packing company? What moving company did you use? And did you use Scotch tape or duct tape? Go for it. No, okay. So, what has the experience been in San Francisco coming from Ohio?
Yeah. So it's been like very, very exciting. And I know people like you could say that and like people are like, oh yeah, like I don't know, it sounds super like cliche or something, like, yeah, that's duh. But like coming from Ohio, I think one of the reasons that I wanted to leave Ohio was like that there just was not enough going on. And like number one, and then number two is like I wanted to like talk to people that were like me, and that there was not a lot of that in Ohio. And so yeah, like when I came here, it was cool because like literally it feels like you're in another country. And I feel like geographically, like I was thinking either New York or San Francisco, and like I went to San Francisco, so like geographically that's like away from New York, but I feel like I'm closer to New York than Ohio, like culturally speaking, because like you come here and everybody's so like, I don't know. I don't even know how to put this into words, but like, I guess there's like a common theme of like open-mindedness and inclusivity. Uh, and yeah, of just like.
Are you happier there than you were in Ohio?
Of course. What kind of a question? Just kidding now. Yeah, of course. I love it here. It's just like crazy. Like the difference is literally night and day. With just how people live, how people work, how I don't know, how people like meet other people, how people have relationships. Like everything is different.
And what's it like to work in? I'm sorry, you can continue with that. I just wanted to address this, which is what's it like to work at a job instead of freelancing at this company?
Right. So, I mean, I can go into that because it's just like, so you said what's it like to work at a company instead of freelancing?
Yeah, or this company in particular, along the same lines of what you were talking about.
I mean, like the location, the location makes sense, right? Because you're in the Bay Area and like there's a lot of like tech companies that are more
No,
like
I mean, what's it like to work at a job instead of freelancing? Like to have to like come into an office every day, but you also have all these coworkers you were telling me about.
like, yeah, I mean it's a routine, right? You have to get used to it. It's like structure. I think to be honest, like as a freelancer, I had like not much structure in my life because you could like do anything whenever. Like you could be doing laundry one second, the next second you could be on a call with a client. So like when you start working, like obviously you have a schedule and like you can't do laundry just like whenever. And then like sharing spaces with coworkers. Like honestly, I feel like as a freelancer, I was kind of starved of like social interaction. And so I think that's actually something that I enjoyed and was looking forward to, which is like, hey, I'm gonna like build like a community here, right? Or like become a part of a community, and become a part of a team, and I don't know, get to know other people like really closely, like that I'm spending a lot of hours in the day with, and that I get to go on, you know, the offsite retreats or whatever, and like go to like drag queen bingo with. Like it's not just like working together and working towards a common goal, but like you know, becoming a part of a tribe. And I think that's like only a natural human being like need, which is like to feel like a sense of belonging, you know? And I think I really didn't think I would be like as happy as I am right now, coming in from freelancing into this, because like I was even up like friends with so many freelancers and we were always like, oh yeah, like 9 to 5 sucks, you know, like yeah, you're like tied to a desk or something. But honestly, if you like end up at a good company like I did, then there's like really not much to complain about, because like the executives from like every level of the organization, their goal is to make sure that you're a happy employee and that you give your best self every day. You come to work every day, you know, you put in the best work because you're passionate about what you do, and that you bring your most authentic self to work. And like they're like, that's why they even do like all these pride events. And yeah, it's just like crazy. Like I like you hear about these companies in the movies, especially in Ohio, like so being so away from all of this. Um, but yeah, it's like these companies are in the movies for a reason. It's because they exist. So that's why yeah, I feel incredibly lucky.
That's awesome. Yeah, you were so funny. You were so excited. Like I think it's hilarious. Like you were like so excited to be moving, and then they paid to relocate you. That's so awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, see that too. Like I was like so not expecting any of this. I guess that's how it is, right? Like I wasn't expecting to go into freelance either. I wasn't expecting like any of like the cool stuff that I've experienced here like in the last month. But yeah, like you just, I guess it just shows that, I don't know, like you just gotta give it your all. And like, even though like I came in with zero expectations, like still like put in that job application, or still like if you're a freelancer, like pitch that client. You never know. Like you really never know until like you give it a shot.
I kind of cut you off when you were talking about San Francisco and living there. If you want to say anything, keep going. That's, I'm excited and I'm happy to see you so happy in your new city.
Yeah, it's crazy because like, yeah, like I said, it's everybody, it's just a different culture. And I absolutely like love the lifestyle that I've chosen, which is like being able to like live in the city. So like even though the office is in Sausalito, which is like you drive everywhere, except there's like a couple bus lines. But like I live in the city itself. And I think to me, like being like native from New York, I think I needed like something like that as much as possible. Like if I wasn't gonna live in New York, I was, like I said, I was gonna move to San Francisco because it needed to be something similar. Um, and yeah, like there's like so many events. Like for example, there's like awesome networking events. There's like always festivals. Like the other week there was like a Latin carnival festival where like people just went around in floats, and people are like really nice. Like they like, I had like a bunch of friends that have showed me like the city and said like, hey, let's, we can do this. And, like this is a common tourist area. You should check this out. Like there's so many things to do. And I think even people that live here, I've seen this, like people that have lived here for like years are still exploring the city because there's always like new stuff popping up. And there is always something to do here. Like you have, I think, no excuse to get bored in San Francisco, which is why people want to stay here, I think, as long as possible. But realistically, like also like rent is expensive here, so like people don't really stay here for the long term. I don't know. At least that's what I've heard. That's what I've seen. But then again, what do I know? I'm only here in like 1 month. But yeah.
Awesome, Karen. Well, thanks for sharing all that. Is there any last thoughts you'd want to share with my viewers, or any prospective students or anybody?
Not, to be honest, no, just like always be willing to like step out of your comfort zone. Like that is something crazy that I like preach about every day. Like I would have never gotten here if it wasn't for like getting outside of my comfort zone. Like it's so basic, but whether it's like applying for a job that you're not necessarily, that you don't have like every qualification for, or trying to pitch a client that you're not sure, like 100% that like you can fulfill all their like deliverables, like always like go for it, like at least give it a shot, right? Always try to do that. And like in life in general as well, like as a freelancer, I went on like my first solo trip to like London, and like that for me was like a crazy experience because that continued to shape me to who I am today, because you learn like honest in a city by yourself, like how to do basic stuff like make friends, and how to um like go around the city and learn transportation. Like be willing to go outside of your comfort zone like all the time. And if you ever feel like you're flatlining, like that is a number one like warning sign, like a flag for you to like change something up, whether it's work, whether it's life, I don't know where you live. Change something up and like do something different, and like be unapologetic about it as well. Because I think even for me, I like coming over here, I didn't have a lot of support, um, at least from like the family side. And like a lot of people I know that grew up, like they have very close ties with their family, and like you really do care about like what family thinks. But like really, I mean, just like be unapologetic. If like this is something that you want to do, if you like make a decision, go with it. And even if you make a mistake, at least you made a decision. At least you're trying out things.
That's great advice. And I'll just tie it back into, I told you I wrote a book called Skip College for Success that's going to be published soon. you're in it. As are a lot of my students who didn't, who skipping is really the operative word, because you've accelerated your life so much because of those principles that you just explained. And one of the things I find with so many people is that everything you described is why people go to college, because it's what their family wants, and because it seems comfortable until they graduate. And then life becomes very uncomfortable. And so I think what you just, I've told you this for a while. I think you could be, you could have your own course or something. What you just described to me, everything you've done is what I think most young people should do, whether they're in tech or not, which is like even going to London and making friends through Instagram and just exploring the city. That is what college is now expected to do for this crazy amount of money, because people aren't taught social skills. They're not taught to go out of their comfort zone. So most people are like, well, I'm going to go to college to make friends and go in debt, or that's how I'm going to get out of my hometown. That's the biggest thing too. I know the reality is most people do go to college because they're so excited to get the hell away.
Yeah.
I was like that, I mean, I love my family, but I was tired of my hometown. I was excited to go to New York, and I could have done it. Anyone could have just gone to New York with 3 or 4 friends, or by yourself, like you did, make friends without the debt or the, the classes that are worth.
Like, and just to go to give you like an example of this, I also like the guy that was talking about that works at Pinterest now, like he like went to Queens College for like a few semesters and then he like dropped out, and he said his goal was to also get hired like at a tech company, like like something big. And how did he do it? By getting into credit card debt. Like he got into credit card debt and he was like working part-time jobs and like learning the trade of software engineering. And like I was telling him, like we were out the other day, and I was like, I would rather get into credit card debt and have a plan for paying it back, right? By like building my skills, rather than go into like college debt and like have no plan of paying that back, of having it be like crazy high. And even if you go bankrupt, you like can't get that taken off. Like at least for like I think for our kind of trades, whether it's software engineering, marketing, although like, like if you talk about other fields like medical and like they're their own story. So I don't want to like talk about that. But yeah, at least
I'll address that, by the way, because I bring it up in the book. So some people, when you saying everyone should skip college, and I say too much. And the reason is, people say, are you saying that doctors shouldn't go to medical school? No, you should go to medical school. But do you know how many people do that? Do you know how much percentage of the population actually goes and becomes a doctor?
No.
Okay, it's 2%. 2%. So people say that as if I'm saying that like that, the doctors of the future are going to have no knowledge. No, there's only 2% of the people get a medical degree, and only 5% of the population gets an engineering degree, which are the 2 most practical, relevant, academically related degrees. The 90% or whatever are getting these nonsense degrees.
Absolutely.
So, and that includes, I put in the book too, I say, you can get non-tech freelance work too, because there's a lot of things I point out, bookkeeping, tax preparation, proofreading, transcribing. There's a lot of stuff, sales. There's so many other things you can do other than tech, but tech is really, considering your generation especially, if you're like 25 and you're like, I don't hold with these computers. I don't know what era you came from. It's like, I'm 41 and I'm tech savvy. So I think like, it's the way of the future. But anyway, back to your point. Whenever people mention that, I always say that because it needs to get into the collective conversation. There's a lot of these platitudes I address in the book that people have just never put any critical thought to it. So people think, oh, well, there's a lot of professions where the degree is required. And if you actually break it down, it's like none of them, other than medicine and law. That's it. And something else I point out, by the way, just so you start thinking differently, is realize law school is a new invention. Law school has only been around for the last like 50 years. When my grandpa and his father were in the legal profession, it was all mentorship. You would clerk or you would work with another lawyer and they would teach you. this idea of having people go into debt for law school, and then when the lawyers or the law students graduate, they also, like, if you ever see my cousin Vinny, they don't learn anything about actually practicing law in law school, which is so crazy. But not to go on a whole other tangent.
No, I agree. And like, I think, but while we're having this conversation, like, I think something super important to point out, because I've lived it and like my peers have lived it, is like, we're talking about all these occupations, right? Doctors, lawyers, tech, not tech, whatever. But like the reality is that, like, I'd say the majority, if like not all of like college students, at least when you're starting, is like, you have absolutely no idea why you're majoring in that major, right? Like, you chose it, yeah, nursing sounds good, right? Or like, my mom's a nurse, so I want to do that. Or like, there's like so much like lost, I don't know, like just a collective of lost people in college right now. And every year going into college, you just have absolutely no idea what you're doing with your life. You have no, like, even though you think you might know what you're doing with your life, chances are you don't. And yeah, your confidence in like the XYZ major is probably not high. Like, that's just how it is, right? Because I've lived it. Like, my peers have been like, yeah, I changed my major from business to finance or something. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'll give it a shot. There's like no enthusiasm or like no like drive behind it. And I think if you're going to spend that kind of money, whatever major you're doing, like, you need to be like, I don't know, like, more sure of like what's the plan after graduation. Unless you've got rich parents, but yeah, like.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And I say, that's the other thing I say in the book is exactly what you said, which is this is the most, people are kind of numb to this at this point, because if you did this in any other field, if you were just like, I don't know how to drive, so I'm just going to go buy a BMW and just kind of see how it goes. Maybe I'll get hit by a car. I don't know. What's this little lever do? It's an insane approach. You're saying, oh, I'm going to spend more money than my family has to explore classes that are completely esoteric, just completely removed from reality, and I have no idea what I'm going to do to pay this debt off. It makes no sense. But collectively, there's been this kind of brainwashing that's happened where everyone thinks this is the right thing to do. But the thing about the majors, and as I said, I remember college. I went to NYU back in the day. I remember almost all of my classes and being very confused while I was there, because I kind of started to wake up. I was like, what am I doing? Like, what am I studying? I'm taking a physics class. I'm taking an anthropology class. I took a bunch of those. I was like, oh, Papua New Guinea. This is really interesting. Like, what the fuck was I doing? It was like, it made no sense. It was so irrelevant to real life. I wasn't going to become an anthropologist. And most people don't, because most of the majors, that's the big misleading thing, as I go into one of my rants here, that there's no correlation between any major that you could show me, even business, and a job. That was the worst thing about college, is because it's taught by academics who live so removed from reality. People majoring in business have actually one of the highest underemployment rates. As I show in the course, there's underemployment, meaning working jobs that don't require a degree. And I always expected, when I looked at those numbers, of course, you're going to think like English and history and, dance, interpretive dance is going to be at the top. Business is way at the top, because they're not taught like what you learned. You're not taught anything practical or like how to start a business. You're taught these high concept nonsense concepts.
Like,
and a lot of
plans.
What's that?
Like a business plan. Like, that's, I don't know, like business plans, of course, yeah, like, sure, if you can make a nice business plan, like, have it like all the proper elements of one, like, okay, but like, how do you actually like start it up? Like that's one of my biggest things. I couldn't like wrap my head around a business plan, because like, even me, like, as a freelancer, and I brought on like a business partner, like, why, like, I don't know, like, have a business plan like set in stone, and then when like the thing is so small, right? Like, if you're starting a business, you're likely starting like from scratch. Like, your thing is so small and you're like so flexible, and you're pivoting to like what your market needs or what your industry needs. Like, I don't know, like, I don't know. I like it just like it doesn't make any logical sense in my mind at least.
Yeah, business plan. Well, first of all, what I was speaking to, you just inspired me. I'm going to make a video about this called Why Business is a Terrible Major, because you're not even studying that. You're not studying how to put together a business plan. You're usually studying things like statistics and microeconomics and all this conceptual nonsense that for some reason someone in academia said, oh, this is what business majors should study. And the reality is people come out at age 22 with all of this like crap in their heads, you know, or they'll be like, if I was hired by Apple to be their new CEO, I know just how to do their product rollout. Okay. Apple's not hiring recent college grads to be their CEO. That's not how it works. Now, as far as entrepreneurship or creating a business plan, you're right. Business plan needs to be very, what you're talking about. What you're talking about actually, Karen, is kind of interesting because you actually were a business owner, because every time you, as a freelancer, you are a sole proprietor business owner, very small business. And, you know, scaling up is really where business plans become important. Is if you wanted to start an agency and hire 10 or 20 different people, you need to have some kind of strategy to sort of assess if it's going to be profitable or not. But what's funny to me is I think people like you and me, when you just start conducting business, it starts to become intuitive. Like you didn't need to sit through 3 years of school to be like, okay, if I outsource my workload to people and I'm paying them $15 an hour and I have X number of clients, you know, you just do some math. You could do it on a napkin and be like, is this going to be profitable or does it not make sense? But business plans, you're right. Like it's very old school kind of thinking, because I mean, I can even imagine like kind of a grandmotherly character being like, okay, honey, well, you want to start your business. So do you have the business plan set up? You know, oh, we're going to have, you got to have your inventory. And then of course, you know, for a brick and mortar business, it might make sense. But in school, the other thing they do a lot, and maybe you didn't experience this, they do, like I said, the stuff with Apple, like literally they will have students do theoretical projects, which is why my course is so damn effective. Because I say, don't pretend that you're the CEO of fucking Apple like you're a crazy person. You're like walking around, you go to a job interview for some entry-level position, you're like, well, if I was running Apple, I would do this. They're going to laugh at you.
What the fuck? Shut the fuck up. I'm sorry.
But
like that.
You could say, hey, I started my own business and I'm making, you know, $500 a month profit selling some stuff on the internet, or I have, you know, 2 clients, or I've run AdWords and it's so small. That is going to get you more respect and more clients. Like that's how you started out. You started out from working at the internship agency, client, etc. Because it's realistic what you're talking about. And in college, I mean, I saw a video. I talk about film school a lot. I remember this. It was a promotional video for AFI, American Film Institute, which is one of these terrible film schools that charges like $60,000 a year. And this guy's sitting there, and he's talking about. He's like, now thanks to this program, I know I can produce a $20 million movie. And I'm like, okay, on what planet are you going to be handed a $20 million movie? So you look at his actual resume when I've looked him up on LinkedIn, and
you looked him up, guys. That's so funny.
And what was he doing? God bless the guy. He was an intern at Marvel. Okay. So he's actually an intern, which means getting coffee, you know, getting someone dry cleaning, or picking up the kids from school, whatever an intern does. It's basically, you know, slave labor. But they have this, he had a concept that like, oh, I know how to do a $20 million movie. Well, that's not realistic. Start out with a $500,000 movie or a $20,000 movie. If you're going to start a business, start your own small business from your garage. Don't fucking pretend you're going to be the, you know, CTO of Apple.
Yeah. You know? It's just like, oh my God, just like take baby steps. Like that's all it is. Just take baby steps. Like, just like, I don't know. For me, at least, I like emotional insurance. So I like to keep my expectations low, which is why you can see all of this is very not expected. But like, yeah, just keep, I don't know. For me, like, it was just like, take baby steps. Like, what can I do today, or what can I do tomorrow to get just a little bit closer to like what I would want to be doing, you know, just like little by little, man. Like, I don't know.
That's it. That's the best advice. The thing about, I mean, geez, I could probably have my own podcast on this because I could just go on and on about how college messes up people's mindsets, because it does the opposite. It messes up their expectation level, because they actually published a survey. They did a survey, and it was actually, I think, a student loan company that commissioned this survey, but they did a survey of college students asking what they expected to make right out of college. And most of these students expect to be making $60,000 right out of college.
Wow.
And they have no idea how delusional that is. They don't even know what job they'll be doing. You know, someone's majoring in history or English and they're just thinking, I'm going to make 60,000. Like, they're so divorced from reality that they don't understand that they're going to be trying to get that Starbucks job or trying to get a job in an office where they're filing papers or something, because they don't have any skills.
Yeah.
So what you said about doing step-by-step, baby steps is, you know, one realistic step, I think is worth, you know, 1,000 times more than one delusional step in college.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Like, I mean, and like, once again, going back to this, because I could just hear people like already saying this, like, oh my gosh, like, yeah, like it's, if you are like 100% set on like you are going to be a nurse because that's what you've dreamt of all of your life, and like that is like 100%, like go for it, man, or like just go for it. Like, you know, it's just like, this is speaking to like the vast majority of people who are like so absolutely lost that the default is to go to college. When I think like even in Europe, like when I was like in London and when I was like in all these places, like I talked to so many like 18-year-old, 19-year-olds. I was like, oh yeah, like what are you doing here? Like, aren't you supposed to be in college? And they're like, no, it's common in like Italy or whatever to like, you know, take a 1 year off and like travel and like figure out like what the fuck I want to do. And I'm like, that's actually pretty smart. And we should do that in the States, especially being like we are a prosperous country. Like my family's from Ecuador. Yeah, you can't do that shit. Like you're delusional if you're gonna take a 1 year whatever, because you can barely, like, it's just like low, like bad economy, like not bad economy, but like in comparison, like it's just not gonna happen. But like I think we're such a prosperous country, and to just like know that we're not taking full advantage of it, I think is kind of like a little bit sad, I think, because like I think that's why I advocate for like travel, and especially while you're young. Like there's just so much to see out there, and like there's so many other ways of thinking, because when you grow up in one place your entire life, like you are set to like this way of thinking, right? And like this is the way everybody does it, right? This is how everybody does life, right? And then you get awakened when you like visit somewhere new and you're like, oh yeah, people actually do things backwards in other places, right? There's like different cultures, different ways of life, different ways of going to college. Like it's just crazy, which is why travel people, like I advocate for that.
You're going to love the book. I mean, I'm saying everything you're saying, because I think I still say the exact same thing. Travel, and it's not just Italy, it's every developed country other than the US. And I know we pride ourselves on being different than everyone else, but in that area, we need to listen to everyone else. Like in the UK, in Australia, in France, in Germany, gap year is just normal. But
Yeah.
you know, I think your gap year can go on because, you know, for most kids, what you need is that year to take a breath. Yeah, everything you just described, like as far as, you know, work-life balance, just enjoying life, like what the reason I'm still so passionate about this, I mean, 20 years after I graduated, is because I think it's an abomination. I think it's an unnecessary damage that's being done to every young person that comes out of there with debt. Because if you skip college and do like what you're doing, like you don't have to, if you just go through your 20s without debt, or without student debt, you just have a happier existence. You know, I know there's people I know who have really bad debt. Like it's almost like they won't talk about it. You know, it's like it's a hidden pain that affects their daily life because they have this terrible monthly payment on top of the fact that they wasted 4 years. And, you know, that's why I think, and economically, I think it's ultimately going to blow up in about, you know, however many years when it's supposed to be retirement age for all the millennials. it's going to be
it's gonna suck.
it's going to suck for most of them, because I mean, God, can you imagine? Like you're trying to save up enough money so that by the time you're like 60 something or 70 something, you can like retire, which most people don't even know what the hell that is. And you're trying to do it now. You're not only starting from zero, you're starting from like negative 70,000. It just makes so little sense. So you're already like, you're so far ahead.
I mean, there's this thing of like, I'm like I try not to like do comparisons, right? Because what may on the outside seem like, oh yeah, I'm clearly ahead of somebody, or like somebody's clearly ahead of me. Like it's, sometimes we don't have like the full context of like what's going on in people's lives, right? People make decisions every day independently of like what the best practices are. But yeah, I think as a general rule of thumb, and like, yeah, with this whole traveling thing, like I was even thinking back to this, like, you know, you graduate college, a lot of people say like, oh yeah, I'm going to travel after college. Like you're not going to do that because you're going to be worried about your debt. Like you need to like think before you like, I don't know.
What people have, and this is the worst part, is you have a what they call a deferment. I think it's a deferment period or a forbearance or something. Not forbearance.
Oh, yeah.
Deferment period, which is a 6-month stay of execution for young people after college, which is where for 6 months you don't have any student loan payments, and then 6 months after you graduate, you get hit like over the head. So you're right.
Yeah.
Or you come home from your great travels where you've just expanded your mind and thought, why didn't I do this 4 years earlier? And then you're like, oh my God. And then people are like, hey, you should get a job. And it's like the first time most people, young people, have ever thought about that. After 16 years of wasted, like, I won't say 16 years, because I think the first like 6 to 7 years of school are pretty good, because you got to, you got to learn to read, write, and do basic math. But
Wait, I think more. What are you talking about, 6 or 7? Wait.
7th grade, 8th grade. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
after,
Like,
to me, 9th grade and beyond was a waste. I mean,
I guess maybe, yeah. I would just like maybe up it like a couple grades, but
you also went to a different kind of high school than most people, it sounded to me.
I guess. I don't know. I truly enjoyed high school, and
I actually loved my high school. I loved it too, but I looking back, I think that what I was studying was ridiculous. But I had great friends. I had great experiences. It was very competitive, and I kind of thrived in that environment.
Mm-hmm.
But didn't you go to? You told me in high school you ended up taking like public speaking classes, right, and leadership stuff.
Yeah, so I went to school in my last 2 years of high school, junior and senior year, I went to a career technical high school. I think it's called vocational high school, some people call it, to where like half the day is devoted to like academics and actually getting your like completing requirements for your like high school diploma, but like half of the day is also devoted to like learning a trade of your choice. And so like there was like welding, there was construction, there was automotive, cosmetology, like a really beginner thing towards nursing, like not nursing, but like a few levels below it. And I think that's like the smartest fucking idea ever. Like you like, oh my gosh.
What were you doing?
So my program was called.
You weren't a welder.
That'd be funny. My program was called Public Relations and Event Management. But a lot of that actually consisted of marketing. So like a shit ton of marketing, but like, textbook marketing, which is like not this marketing. But as a part of public relations, obviously, you are like writing press releases and learning how to theoretically represent a company. And with that comes public speaking, obviously. So like it was just a thing where, I got used to speaking in front of, the whole class on a daily or weekly basis. And then like going to competition. So we're a part of this, like, it's called DECA, where it's like you like gather in groups, or you can do a thing individually where you compete against other high schools in the area. And then, once you go to the regional competition, then you could pass to state level, and then from state to like national level. And that was like huge, at least in my development, because I learned how, like, what people want to see, like judges that were actually like practicing in the real world, like judges that were marketing professionals or judges that were heads of PR or something. like what they wanted to see and what they valued in like whether it was like a business plan or like a marketing campaign or an advertising campaign, even though it was still still removed from like what I do today. Like it's like the technical things, like the meat of the project was still removed from like what I like do today on a day-to-day basis. Like it was still good to help me like develop my speaking skills and confidence and like just learning how to like just business etiquette just in general. That to me was super awesome. And yeah, like that was like an experience that I would, oh my gosh, I am so happy I did that. And I think that's what kind of helped me click, because I actually did work that I enjoyed in high school. And then I went into college and I was like back to like square one, learning about like microeconomics. And I'm like, but I was doing actually like more relevant stuff in high school at my like vocational high school. I'm like, what's going on, kind of like what you were mentioning. So then that kind of gave me like the confidence. I'm like, I know there's something better out there. Like I'm not like, I know I'm not like hitting the spot with like what I want to learn right now.
And that's how you found the course.
Yeah, thanks to YouTube and thanks to procrastinating classwork for college. Like,
well, that was what you just described. So just to hit your point about school, what you described about what you didn't like about college is what most high schoolers are still experiencing in their junior and senior year. So I think what you experienced was hugely beneficial. I've always thought that about you since you told me. I don't think you're even aware of how, because you have a confidence and ability to speak to people that I'm sure was the result of doing all that public speaking. It's why I recommend all my students join Toastmasters or do something where you are forced to speak in front of a group. And it's so practical. But remember, in most schools, that's not happening. Junior year is a shit show of college prep. It is in a good high school, or like where I went, I mean, it's SATs or ACTs. You are, everyone's freaking out about where they're going to go to school. And those are the people I really want to reach, honestly, are the most driven, intelligent, college-bound students, because I just think like you could do so much better. But as far as the classes, I look at it like, and I say this a lot in the book, is I say from ages 15, or maybe you could say 17 to 25, I think that the focus of every young person should be how to make money and how to support yourself.
And be happy and like try to like be fulfilled doing it, right? Like not just like anything that's going to make you money, but like what are your values in life, right? And because that shapes what you do later. Like right now, like for example, what like the job that I took right now, like it's based on my values and like what I value, which is like, I don't know, like work-life balance and living in a cool city, even though it's expensive. Like, I don't know, just what matters to you. Or like, I know like at my high school, yeah, it's funny you mentioned that now, because like I'm coming to that reality, like not everybody had the same high school experience as I did. I don't know, I kind of forgot that. I don't know, for some reason, like in my mind, it was like, yeah, everybody did something like this, right? Like everybody went to vocational high school. Like obviously not, but like, I don't know. I guess I assumed everybody had some kind of experience like that. And now
But it's good, one good thing about assuming that, even though, I had that too. I went to a really competitive high school. When I got to NYU, it was actually kind of hilarious because we would all be complaining about freshman English. And I didn't realize till about a month in, I was complaining because it was so basic. And everyone else was complaining because they thought it was too hard. And that's when I was like, oh my God, because I went to such a crazy competitive high school. But it also helped me because honestly, I relate to people like they're as smart as me. Or that they have the same potential I did. I don't look at like, oh, I went to this high school and I went to NYU, so I'm so special. No, I'm like, I just we project ourselves onto people. I'm just like, and you do the same thing because you're so great with people and you're just like, you can do it. I did it. You can do it. It's just, it's just natural. But yeah, the actual course load in high school, I think like everything you said about being happy and money, I say, being happy is a correlate of money in this planet, because money doesn't buy you happiness, but it's very hard to be happy if you are struggling your ass off for like 30 years, or if you're at a job you hate. So if you start to study money, making money, and how you want your lifestyle, basically your lifestyle, how do you want your lifestyle to be? Do you want to freelance? Do you want a day job? Most people don't even know what. I should message this kid back. Somebody messaged me on Instagram, what's a freelancer? And I kind of didn't know how to answer it. And I was kind of stunned, honestly, that he asked it, because I guess I'm so used to dealing with people like you too, where I was like, could someone really not know what that is? But it's true. If you're a teenager, how the hell would you ever know it? You're not taught about it in school. If you start studying that stuff when you're 16 or 17, by the time you're your age, like, okay, you spend those 4 or 5 years trying shit out, shadow a professional in a profession that you think you might be interested in. But the way that it's set up now is so, I feel like every year you spend studying these topics, like I did AP European history. And
oh
I
my
feel
God,
like,
me too.
like, what a fucking waste of my brain space. Like, I mean, I like to go to Wikipedia and read about kind of the general sense of what happened. I got to, we studied Germany and how the Prussian states, led ultimately to the German state that led to World War II and all this stuff. It was really interesting stuff, but it could have been handled in like a week. I didn't need to spend a whole fucking year learning every fucking detail about the history of Europe during the Middle Ages. Stuff I'm sure even people in Europe don't even know or care about, or the students there forget that shit. It's the wrong time. That's when I should have been learning the stuff, like the stuff you're talking about some practical shit. And then what I tell people is, because I put in the book at the very end, I was like, arts, sciences, literature, life, travel. This is all so important, but it should come at the, like, once you figure, like you have your career, you have so many, you're really, I won't say you're set, but like you have such a great foundation. You can do so many things and you really don't have to worry and freak out about, am I going to get a job? Now is the time where you can take your free time and say, hey, I want to read Moby Dick, or I want to read War and Peace, or I want to I want to go to a museum, or I want to learn more about science. Now, versus when you're like in college and they're shoving this stuff into your head, like at 21, it's so important that you learn the Pythagorean theorem and learn how to find the hypotenuse of a fucking triangle, Nobody's life was ever less because they didn't know how to find the fucking hypotenuse of a triangle, unless you're going to work in a specific, like as an engineer or something.
Right.
So that's what I say, the whole industry and culture of people that are saying, oh, you've got to learn all this stuff. And it's so disingenuous. It's not true in education. You know what it's like in these schools? You're just memorizing the shit to get the grade on the test. So that then, eventually you'll get the grade. So that then eventually you'll get into the college. So then eventually you'll take the test, so that eventually you'll graduate.
A lot of eventuallys.
Yeah. So that's why I'm still like, I don't know why I'm still like, I don't have any fucking kids. I have no relationship to college really at all, except through my like continuously being pissed off that this is still happening.
I mean, it's just the way it is. Like to me, it's like acceptance and like, yeah, that's the way it is. And like, even for like some of my freelance work, or client work, I've learned to use that. So like if I have like extra client work, especially when I started working, that like needed to be done, that was like so minute to me at least, but not probably to anybody who isn't like familiar with this work. And I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna hire like a college student and a lost college student, and they'll probably working with me, they'll probably be way better off than by taking like a marketing course or stuff, even though they're still probably gonna do it. And so yeah, like that's like I feel like I'm kind of hacking the system by like being to like a lost college student, like, hey, you want to like work part-time for me remotely, just do a few things for me while I'm like at work. And yeah, like obviously you're gonna get paid, like, and you get experience. And
so
like,
wait a second, did you actually hire college students to work for you?
Like not hire, not like an employee, but like I guess
you had a freelancer, or you outsourced?
Yeah, I guess like a freelance kind of contractor kind of situation, where it's like consistent work, and they could do it like part-time while they're like doing college, but also, or like doing whatever the hell they want. Like I really don't care. Like I don't care what you do with your life, as long as like I literally just like did a video screen like recording, like, this is how you look for keywords. This is how you put it into the article. And then this is how you write the article. It just has to have like maybe just throw in a few sentences, like so basic, but like
you're teaching these college kids and giving them a job.
Yeah, like not a job, god damn it, but like I'm paying them. Yeah.
you're a job creator. You paid someone. You're 23.
Yeah.
You paid someone to do work for you.
Yeah, and they're like
Oh,
benefiting, I'm sure, because now they could take this and like this is why like I think it's such a good deal for them. It's like such a good beneficial thing for like both parties because like I get more time on my hands to do like work, and even if like while I was just doing like just client work to like sales and like prospect and do whatever the hell I want to do or like travel, and then like they're learning and they're getting paid and they're working remotely. They don't even have to go into like anywhere like a fast food place, and they could just work from a coffee shop and I don't know, yeah, like make more in like an hour doing my work than
what were you
making.
paying them? What were you paying them?
That's confidential information.
Okay. You can tell me.
No, it's
Well,
not like I mean,
no, don't tell me. But here, I just want to point this out. It's unbelievable. You are not only did you get these jobs without a college degree, now you are actually providing work for college students and teaching them. And in this whole equation, it's like what is the one party that is never pulling their own weight? The college. Like,
yeah,
it's so mind-blowing. Like, you're having all this success, having, found your own path. I'm teaching people how to do this. And now you're even employing, in some regard, these college students and teaching them stuff they're not learning in school. And that's mind-blowing to me. So,
yeah,
but listen, Karen, we've been talking for like 2 hours now, so I'm
yeah.
gonna wrap this up. But I gotta get home and eat. And my battery. But yeah, let's thanks so much for being here. And I'm going to do a sign off because I'm tired from having talked so much.
Yeah, and like yeah, and like I'll also like as I mentioned, like feel free to like put my
yeah, you
like
can do it like a closeout to the people watching if you want.
I thought I already did one, right? Where I give like advice.
Oh, you did. I did.
Yeah.
And then we talked for another hour. So
But yeah, I'm like good with that. I don't know. Did you want me to give another sign off?
no, it's fine. Just you said it's okay to give your social media contact, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I don't know. I try to do my best with like replying to people, although sometimes I'm not the best, but yeah, for like generally I will eventually get to people. And yeah, like I don't know. I love to continue to like meet people from the course. Like some of my awesomest friends from New York have been through the course and I like respect them and admire them so much. So yeah, like apart from like being like everybody wants like to learn digital marketing skills in the course, like I like that this is kind of like a community thing, you know, like everybody's like we all have the same experiences, right? We all have like either our parents being like, what kind of shit course is that? Or I don't know. Yeah, so like that's why I really like kind of the community building part of taking this course as well. So yeah, I'm happy to talk to people.
That's great. Thanks so much, Karen. I feel the same. I'm so happy. That was what my intention was when I made the course, was that it would create a community, and it did. So that's kind of mind blowing because, I created this thing on my computer by myself. I didn't know I would meet all you guys. So it's always very satisfying to hear that. And so if you've watched this and if you've been kind of watching the testimonials and the videos, I recommend, as Karen said, take action. Just jump into it. You have to take action to get the results. If you have never seen the free course, go to indemandcareer.com or click the link below the video to get the free 4-part mini course where I tell you more about these jobs and how this is all possible. And
for sure.
Yeah.
Like, can I add one more thing? Like I've gotten this like same message so many times on Instagram, like because people see my like a testimonial from like, I don't know, 2 years ago. And everybody keeps asking me like, is it still worth it? Is it still worth it? Like every time, like this is just like a repetitive. So I feel like I should address this like right here, which is it still is definitely. And especially because like you've been like updating, you're like on it constantly. But also I think like now that I've seen like now versus 2 years ago and like I don't know when you came out with the course, but like years ago, like now there are so many more courses on the market, but I think this is like by far like the best bang for the buck, like 100%. Like there is like no comparison in like price ranges and compared to like the value that you get. Like you get like, it's like talking like with another course, you could pay like for a really expensive burger, but that's just a burger. But with this course, it's like you could pay for the whole fucking meal and like much cheaper, and it's like the same quality of fucking food. Like you're gonna get more food. Like what the fuck? Like why would you not? Like I don't know.
Thanks, Karen. And
Yeah.
and also I would say, you know, I've looked around too. There's nowhere near as many testimonials from real people, like actual recordings or messages from people who got jobs. You just won't see it in any other course.
Yeah.
And definitely not like full sales, you know, digital marketing, $60,000 master's degree or whatever.
They're still doing that. I saw that years ago, I think.
They're still doing it, yeah. So yeah, well, thanks, Karen, and I will talk to you about that in a second. But thanks so much for being here, Karen, and we will likely talk to you again soon.
Probably. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll cut it there. You know, it's funny because the ad, I've been running that ad for a while with your interview because it had so much like social, you know, there's comments and likes and stuff. But
on Instagram?
on Instagram, but I didn't realize like, and maybe that is happening with our movie too, is that, yeah, it does say the date, and I think it's like from last year or something. So, but people ask that anyway. Like I still get people asking, of course they want to know if they missed out, you know, or
if they missed the train,
if it's still relevant.
Mm-hmm.
But cool. All right, well, my battery's about to die.
Yeah.
And yeah, we could keep, I'm probably gonna do like a relatively long version of this that's like almost the full thing, and then I'll probably cut up a few different segments like when we talk more about college.
Okay.
I'll figure it out. This was
like make it like several videos.
Yeah, I could do like a part 1 and a part 2.
Oh shit.
We could just leave it on there. I mean, who the hell knows? People love, you know, Matt's done hangouts where he talks to people for like 3 hours, and I think people like that. There's a whole podcast mentality where people like long form stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And it seems it's like less produced. I've seen that too, or I don't know, at least with my consumption patterns with like at least YouTube and stuff, like I don't like well produced, well edited, like not really. Like I like the rawer it feels like, and it's edited. To me, it's like the more authentic it is, and like it's like you're not like trying to hide anything from me, you know. It's like straight up like just a conversation. At least that's what I've seen with me.
I think I'm gonna no, I feel the same way, which is why I'm probably gonna post almost everything, except maybe the first minute, or I don't know, or maybe the whole thing, and then cut in on certain things and cut it up a little bit. But it's so great to talk, and I'm gonna do more of these when I release the book, because I'm gonna keep like these two topics, digital marketing and the college thing. I always seem to have the energy to talk about, and the book. You should write
that on your gravestone, like when you die, like skipcollegeforsuccess.com.
I'm still recording you, and I think that's pretty funny. Actually, let me see. I'm gonna click stop broadcast.